Welcome to Ideon Ideon Tech Talk with me, Mikael, the CEO of Ideon Science Park, where we've helped thousands of patents to come to life, and we are in the forefront of technology with a large diversity of high-level competences, which is what you need in order to solve the challenges of the future. And the Tech Talks is where we dig a little bit deeper into the technology actually developed here in the park. And with me today, I have Mikael Egard, the CEO of Acconeer, one of the scale-ups companies here. And Acconeer is also world-leading in small size, low cost and low power consumptions. Det sa jag redan, kanske. Low size, low cost and low power consumptions. And what you are actually developing is a micro radar.
Yes, we are. So here it is. That tiny piece of technology is a complete radar system.
Yes, we will talk a lot more about the actual technology behind it and the other components here. But why don't we start with how it all started?
Yes, and of course there's a lot of effort and blood, sweat and tears that has gone into the development of that small radar. But where it all started, we have to go back to 2010 roughly, when we are a group of scientists at Lund University working in pulsed communication systems actually. And we were contacted by companies not within the communication industry but within the radar industry who had seen our research. And that was kind of the embryo to the idea to start the company. And in
Did you always? You were the scientist here,
yes.
Did you always want to start a company? Was that the goal for you, or?
Those ideas existed already from the start when we started the PhD project. But of course, getting someone from a potential customer contacting you when you're working on a cool piece of technology that really is
convincing. Yes,
convincing, and what boosted us to really start a company.
Yeah, and that was
2010 roughly,
10,
and
yes.
that's also when we entered into different kinds of competitions. We won some of them, got some money to start market research and to file for the first patents. And then in 2011 we formed a company, but it was not until 2012 when we actually started working actively. And that's when my colleague Mats and I were done with our PhD studies, so we could work full time. And we had the support from the other co-founders, so Lars-Erik Wernersson, who was the professor of the research. And we had Louis on board as well, the Lund University Innovation System.
Yeah, there's a great support here at the university for scientists starting companies.
Yeah.
And you were actually aiming for the more traditional industry, you said.
Yeah. So when we started this, and the customers who contacted us, they were in the market spaces where radar is traditional. So it's distance measurement in the petroleum industry, so where they actually make business transaction based on what the radar tells you of the inventory in an oil tank. Security industry, so the security scanners at the airports, for instance, and different types of material testing and such. So that's where we started and where we investigated how could we bring our technology into those markets and give the benefit of power consumption and accuracy and so on. And that was the basis on which we formed the company. It didn't take too long, probably 1 year, before we kind of threw that out of the window. I shouldn't say threw it out because we're still working with some of those applications, but at least in terms of selling IP to those kind of high-end markets.
Because from the start you wanted to sell only the IP and not produce a product yourself, right?
So looking at, for instance, the distance measurement in the petroleum industry, those radars cost $10,000 and they sell not that many a year.
Okay.
And here we are with a technology that is extremely low power consumption, small and can be made low cost. It's not a perfect fit.
No, of course.
And after talking to customers, investors, we had a lot of good support from local networks, which helped us bring in the right people, such as Connect, Business Angles, and Lewis, and of course Ideon, where we.
This is where you called it the loop. But tell me about this loop, where you interact with the community and sort of looking for money and testing some ideas, and then going back to community. How did that develop you as a company and this technology? Yeah,
no, I have a picture which I show new co-workers when they enter our company. It's like the size of our system and the funding history, so how that developed over time. So it's a bit of a joke, but from the beginning the system was kind of a 1 cubic meter.
Yeah, wow.
And now it's this small.
Wow, that's really
But amazing. What we did is that we proved some part of the concept, brought that to customers, got their thumbs up.
Yeah.
Then we brought the thumbs up to investors, got
some money,
to take the next phase, to redo all of this, the loop, to make the prototype slightly smaller, prove something else. Customers, thumbs up, investors. And
how many turns did you actually have to make to come to this size?
To come to that size, we made four of those loops, I would say.
Okay, that's pretty fast then.
It's pretty fast, also given that we changed the concept of the product. So in the beginning, it was fairly specialized production techniques that we used. And where we are now are mainstream technologies that can be made as cheap as you can make anything in this industry.
And of course, now we come to the fact that you actually also had your production partner with you in these development phases, right?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. Who were they, and what did they think the first contact you had with them?
Yeah. No, that is one of the key of Acconeer's success, that we already from the start, we drove the specification of the product from the fact that you should be able to scale it immediately to in millions of sensors per month. And in order to do that, we decided to work with those companies, those partners from the start.
Hang on. So from the start, you said millions of sensors.
Yeah.
From the beginning, you said, if we can't do that, we won't do it.
Yeah, or exactly. Actually, we made a decision to not go for those production partners. And then things developed, and then we decided, no, we should do it. And I mean, if I have to select one point in Acconeer's history, and this is quite way back, this is like end of 2014, something like that. If we would have kept those production methods which are more specialized but not as cost efficient, this will not be possible today.
Right.
So that's like a major decision.
Major turning point for the company.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your partners were in.
So our current production partners are in Korea and Singapore, and convincing them back in 2015, when we were 4 employees, that they should bet on us. I mean, because we are occupying space in their production line, which they can use for something else.
Not their normal customers.
No, not the normal customers. But we're quite lucky that the industry started to shift around that time to actually betting on this kind of companies, because they have seen so many companies actually making it. And it has evolved over time, so now they are more open to taking in startups. But it's still a risk, so they have made a bet on us. Absolutely, but they make many bets, of course.
Of course they do, but now they have made a good bet.
They have made a good bet, and I mean, another key point was that early on we decided to bring in to share our company and technology with really bright people. So we managed to bring in industry experts that had the right contacts to make this happen.
Which you did through, amongst others, Connect, finding the partners they are also here in the ecosystem here, finding investments and smart money that could help you develop your idea to reach the market. And then you ended up, so you did this four turn loop, and you ended up in this product. And then in 2018, you made the first real sales. So that's when we had invested in the production tools, so that we could actually bring this
to the market, not just prototypes anymore.
Actually, the production tools, you mentioned it before, the cost of a production tool to produce, to test this.
They are very expensive. So one set of production tool is like 10 million Swedish. So you need to have some money in the bank in order to get it right. Yeah.
But you had come to that point that you had that.
Yeah.
And you had the right partners with you. Yeah. What happened then? So what were the market drivers here? You saw the potential, of course, turning to the traditional industry, but also a new industry coming up with the sensor technology all around, the IoT. Tell me more. How did they find you? Is more interesting.
Yeah. So we made a strategic decision to have many customers. So we have so many customers. I'm having a bit of a hard time to keep track of history. But one thing we did is that we decided to keep an open approach. So we sell our hardware and our modules with a sensor and an MCU on the backside, together with our evaluation kits. We sell them through online distributors. So the well-known like DigiKey. We provide our software free of charge. We have on GitHub an open source tool to help you get started.
So that actually means if I'm a developer, I'm an inventor, I'm sitting trying to come up with a new product, I could use this development tool and the algorithm and the software for free and try it out?
Yeah, you just buy the evaluation kits and you get the rest for free. And that, I think, is really key that we have managed to address the IoT market, because you don't get that from the traditional radar providers.
No.
So it's open, it's accessible, which means that...
And this kit is fairly low cost too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we price it so it's so low cost, at least, so that any individual at the company can make the decision themselves.
I think that's really
So you don't
key.
have to go through approval from managers and such.
So the engineer himself or herself could actually download it or order it online and then start developing.
Start to play with it,
Right. So, and now we're coming down to what the actual secret in the technology is. Could you enlighten us? Why are people so hungry for this little thing, radar, here? What is it built of?
It's what it consists of is so it basically, that was one of the first to take such a product to market, and this is of course hard to see, but on the back side here there is a piece of silicon, so 2 by 2 millimeters, which contains all the electronics. So we managed to jam all the radio parts and digital parts together on this silicon. And that took some guts, because that's perhaps not normally how you do it. You keep it a bit more spread out to have a more safe approach, perhaps. But then also that we put it inside the package together with 2 antennas, so one TX and one RX antenna. And this means that the customer does not need to be a millimeter wave expert.
Right.
Or a radar expert. So it only has to connect through the digital interfaces, so here on the back side.
Yeah.
And then we take care of the rest.
And when you say take care of the rest, what happens then for people that are not so into technology? So the radar sends out the radio waves in a frequency. And what is the secret here?
So the secret of what we are doing different to our competitors is that in their systems, they have a continuous radio wave that's sent out, and the noise on that radio wave is what sets the accuracy of the measurement that the sensor can do. And to have such a system costs a lot of current, so the current consumption goes up. But if you do it right, you have something that can measure distance very accurately.
Right.
And what we managed to do is that we managed to avoid having this continuous oscillator.
Yeah.
So we send very short pulses. They're like 1 nanosecond long, very short in time. And the complete radio is shut off between those pulses. So we save a lot of current.
How can that... So the secret is that you can still detect.
Yeah, so we save the current, but we still have a very accurate phase reference between the pulses. Even though we shut down the radio, we still have a way of determining the time reference between the different pulses to do measurements that are down to tens of microns in accuracy.
That's cool. And these signals are coming back and being registered somewhere. How does that happen then?
Yeah, so it's sent out from the device to my hand, for instance. It bounces, it comes back. We have some simple processing within the sensor. Yeah. But then we provide the software. So
processing, even in this?
Simple signal processing done there, but the main part is done in the MCU. So this is one of our modules where we have the sensor integrated with a M7 processor in this case. We have an M4 with Bluetooth and an M0 variant as well. And here are the different algorithms that detects distance, motion, breathing rate, gestures, for instance.
Okay, and can you tell me a little more about what the possible applications would be? I know on your website you have like super diverse targets with this technology.
And that's another key strategic decision that we made, that we keep this open approach. We charge for the sensor, and then we put out the tools for anyone to invent. Yeah. So we have customers working with applications, just to name a few. We have many customers who have launched products, 27 in total customers who have launched products, but many are in IoT, smart cities, monitoring parking spaces, levels in waste bins, where in a building there is people present. Yes. And then we have in the car industry, which is perhaps the biggest opportunity for us going forward, where it's used for gesture detection for opening the trunk lid. It's used inside the car to detect if there is a person or a child left behind in the car. Wow! That's a real problem, that people actually forget their children in the car and then they die from heat stroke. So it's
not so usual in Sweden, but still.
Still in the US it's tens of cases every year. So they will introduce this in the testing of cars.
Okay, so how does it detect the movement from the child then? That it move their hands, or you even said when they breathe. Yeah, is that true?
Actually, it's the only thing that is needed is that their heart is beating, because we can pick up just small vibrations on the skin from a heart beating.
No, that's a bit scary, but good. Yeah. Yes.
And we can do that through clothing or a blanket, perhaps. So that's why radar is superior to camera technology, for instance.
I have a new idea for you. You should have this on the inside of coffins, just in case.
Just in case, yeah.
Just kidding.
It's not the craziest application I've
No? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so cars inside and outside. So you can have many. Since it's so small, you can actually place it a little bit everywhere. Yeah. And it's not costly, so you can actually. It's not a production decision to have one or two. It's or what do you say?
It depends on the volume and the product. For some customers who build fewer, have a lower volume. They put in several. Many high-end customers want one sensor to solve everything, of course.
Of course, and they call you every day. Yeah. Yes. Well, that could be in the future, perhaps. But what is the status now, would you say, on your company? I know you're listed on the Nasdaq First North, so you can't tell us everything. But what can you tell us?
So the status are that we have these products available, the modules and the sensor. And we are selling them. We have helped to launch 27 customers. And of course, it's both big and smaller volumes in that. But 27 so far. It's within IoT, industrial, robotics. So there's 2 robots who use it to navigate and detect where there's humans.
Cool, yeah.
So that is running right now. And we continue to help customers, make it possible for everyone to access this, because the key, we won't have many customers, we are quite few, so we need to make really good tools and documentation.
Right. How many are you right now?
About 40. So we continue to invest in that. In parallel, we run several customer projects as well, and that's for the bigger opportunities where we help the customers to actually get to the markets, where we dedicate a project manager.
So you follow a developing company using your components. So you follow them to the market and help them
exactly
to make their dreams come true.
To make sure it's a success.
And that means that if somebody listening to this sits with their ideas, now that you've heard what this could do, you could contact you and maybe get some help along the way.
Absolutely.
But what I know is that you sell this already now through e-commerce.
We do, and we have worldwide distributors. So we have distributors, I think we have 9 in total covering the whole world. And so that's how we address the different markets, mainly through distributors. We educate them, we help them. We have some contracted sales force as well, globally. But that's the main source.
And you know for a fact that over 2,500 of these test packages have been ordered. So but you don't know for what.
And not in all cases. So there's a lot of innovation going on around the world that we're not aware of. And we hear from new customers every day who are launching products, and it's ideas that you couldn't really envision.
I was a little bit curious also about this Bluetooth connection. What kind of application? How does that work, and what kind of applications do you see for that?
So it's a lot about the IoT and the smart city applications. So for instance, a customer could take this and install directly and have something that, as I said, detects the level in a trash bin, or detects...
We know that company too. Yes.
Detects if there's a person sitting at a desk, for instance. So to make it easy for them to integrate it in existing systems.
Yeah, and I heard about this detecting that you are in the room or in a certain place. That could help save energy costs when you plan your facility management for large organizations or for facility owners. So and you know that the Bluetooth is also developed here, so that's really important to know. Do you meet most of the potential development ideas here in the park, or is it also very global? It's
very global. So we have launched the most customers in China. China, Japan, Korea tends to be big. They adopt the technology early. But of course Europe and the US as well.
Interesting.
And we're working with local companies as well. And of course, when we're entering into a new application space, it's a benefit for us if the customer is local.
Yeah, you can have discussions and you can meet and test.
So there's different parameters when we select like lead customers. It's volume and marketing potential, but also
how close can we work? Yes. And what does it take for you to start working as a partner with a company? I mean, what kind of decisions do you internally take? Because if you're 40 people, you can't partner with everyone.
No.
So how does that work?
No, we can't. I mean, in our strategy, we want to have many customers. That's our strategy. And as you say, we are not that many, perhaps. So we try to make it easy for customers to get access to the technology and launch their products by themselves. And we don't tend to really, we never say no to an opportunity. We always try to help them in some way. But of course, when we bring it into customer projects, it's the parameters I just said that we evaluate on. So volume and if it's a new application.
Because we talked about this before, and you said something about we're happy for the non-focus. What did you mean by that?
I mean, of course, we focus on the low power consumption, small size. That's our core values. But in terms of application, we want to be a sensor for all applications. So we don't focus on specific verticals, but we let the market help us decide.
And I think that's one of the key success stories or success factors that you have been following the market all along. So we thought this, and we listen to experts and industry experts, and then we do this, and then now you're like moving towards bigger and bigger volumes, of course, and also newer markets.
And of course, I mean, if someone would have said that we would have several customers within parking space occupancy detection.
Yeah.
That wasn't on the map really.
No, nobody thought of that.
Nobody thought of that. So.
Before. So that's a cool thing. Yeah. Okay, so what do you wish, what's your vision of the future? How long have you been now with this company? I mean, from the idea to now, it's more than 10 years? It's 15?
No, kind of 10. So 2012 we started working. So
yeah.
And then 2015 where we could start to hire people.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of time frame, and it takes time to develop this kind of hardware. As I say, it's expensive tools and development processes, of course, and then you have the.
Yeah, sorry. No, and of course you have to also develop the company along the way. So who's doing what, and how do we organize for scaling up too?
Yeah. And actually, to be honest, we had to do some education of the market as well, because this is new.
Yeah.
So, and that's a big difference. In the past year, we haven't had really to explain what radar is.
No.
So something has happened.
Okay.
So the customers.
So the market is more mature now.
More mature, have more advanced questions. So something has happened for radar as a whole as well. And for the future, I mean, what we are taking as the next step now is that we are starting to look into the next generation, and we're starting to recruit for that as well.
Will it be smaller?
It might be smaller.
Okay.
It will for sure be more capable in terms of processing.
Yes.
So a lot is about bringing everything, I mean, the processing capability you have here
into
the sensor.
Yeah.
And also make it more capable in terms of having more antennas.
Right.
Yeah. And that's development that we are.
And that's also being pushed by the market. That's what they're asking for.
It is, and especially automotive market. So this is something that we're planning together with one of our partners, Alpine.
And in the park we have 2 focus areas that connects to, and I think it's a beneficial to you that we work with this, and many companies here are in the smart city focus area and the future transportation. So self-driving cars and controlling of both electricity and lighting and energy. I think these are all being developed here too. So you can find peers to discuss these markets.
I think we're discussing with most of them. So
that's amazing. Have anybody knocked on your door and said, "Can I buy your company?" Can you say it? Can you say yes?
No, of course we can
of
say.
Of course, yeah. But you say no. Because you want to build this now.
Yeah, that wasn't the question. I asked if someone had knocked.
Yeah.
No, of course we want to build a company that can succeed over a long time, and I think this investment in the next generation is really in line with that, and very important that we are not a one-hit wonder. We will continue to build a product portfolio and technology. Because
of course the competitors are hunting you in the neck and trying to beat you in this world-leading position that you have now.
Yeah, they are, and so we need to keep ahead in power consumption and size and cost, absolutely, but we also spend a lot of effort in developing what's around that.
Yeah.
So how do you take a radar output to the detection of a hand gesture?
Yeah, right.
How do you take the radar output to the detection of a breathing rate of an infant?
Yeah.
So that, I think that value is something unique as well that we bring to customers.
Yeah, it is, and it is, of course, when you can save lives. I mean, nothing is more important than that. So I thank you for coming here,
yeah, thank you.
I hope that I wish you good luck in the continuous development. And Acconeer is also one of our scale-up companies in the Scale-Up Leadership program, which we hope can help. And if you would like to know more about the technology being developed here, watch us next time at the Ideon Tech Talk. Thanks for us. Bye.